Well, hello everybody and welcome. Thanks for watching. Today's topic is my music haul from last week, my visit to Poobah Records out in Pasadena. Let's get started. It was a great haul, first of all, just to let you know. Great haul. I bought more albums than I usually do. I spent more than I usually do, but I'm very happy because I love the albums that I got, and I had a very special Holy Grail find, and all of the albums that I played so far, which I haven't played every album, but all of the albums that I played so far, super clean. No pops, no clicks, no skips, very clean albums. So I'm really happy with that. Let's get started. Here we go. The Doors' Greatest Hits. What? A compilation? Sure, I'm not that much of a purist. I don't mind compilations. And especially for a band like The Doors. I'm a fan, but I'm not that fan that I gotta have every one of their albums. So I'm just not that guy to buy every Doors album. But a compilation gives me the chance to get just about every Doors song that I like. So I'm very happy with this. All right, next up, X, Under the Big Black Sun. You guys know I'm a huge X fan, and I go all the way back to the old days, start days of them. And I go back to buying their records way back to the beginning with them. I used to have this on vinyl, and this is another one of those albums that were stolen from me in the great album robbery of the 80s. Now, I replaced it on CD, but never on vinyl. Last week, there I am hunting through the bins. What do I find? Bang! 3X albums were sitting there actually, but I already had those, and so this is the one that I was missing of those early X albums. So early to have grabbed it. The other aside trivia about that album is, you might remember last week in the video, I talked about the mystery that came out of this album. Just in case you don't know, for those of you who didn't see it, I'll try to recap it 30 seconds and just let you know that the song Dancing with Tears in My Eyes in here, that I always thought was just an X song, turns out to be a cover from a song written in 1930. I was intrigued by the mystery of what is X doing covering what I thought was an obscure song from 1930. Well, a friend of mine did some research after seeing that video. Thank you, Jason. My friend Jason did a little research, and it turns out that song is not quite as obscure as I thought. It's been covered more than 40 times by orchestras, folk rock singers, punk rockers, regular rock and roll bands, you name it, it's been covered endlessly. So not as obscure as I thought, although there still might be an interesting connection as to how is it that Exene came to sing that song. There might be an interesting story behind that, and I'd love to hear it if it exists. Grand Funk Railroad, good singing, good playing. This album, I've mentioned that I'm starting to grow as a Grand Funk Railroad fan, so I'm expanding. I'm grabbing their albums when I see them. This one I really like. Turns out the story behind it is that they had already broken up, and Frank Zappa, here on the cover, got them to come together to record this album. Zappa produced it, and after the album came out, it actually received some good critical acclaim, and Zappa tried to convince the band to stay together, but it just didn't work. So this is kind of like a come together, record an album, and then disband again. But this is a very good album. One thing that Zappa did in producing was he stepped their musical sound, their musical feeling away a little bit from the hard driving rockers, guitar driven, to pushing up the harmonies in their vocals, which is actually a great part of the band that previous albums just didn't showcase as much as this one did. So in that way, this album is a little unique also because it gives us the harmonies of the guys in the band. I love this album. Heard it a couple times. Looking forward to listening to it more often so that I become even more familiar with the songs. Next up, Pat Benatar, $1.99 a piece, couldn't pass them up. Also taken, stolen in the great punk rock robbery of the 80s. So I never replaced them, but the price was right. And of course, it's got all those radio hits that we're used to. And it's going to have the side songs that didn't get on the radio. So I haven't heard these albums in these are a couple that I haven't listened yet. And I haven't heard these albums practically since they were taken in the robbery. So it's been a lot of years. And I'm looking forward to hearing all those not on the radio tunes. Because they're good rock and roll. They're just a flat out good rock and roll band. And so I'm looking forward to hearing these albums. What else? Here's another one that I haven't even dropped the needle on yet. I've just been listening to other albums, but these will come. This one is an upgrade for me. I'm hoping it's an upgrade. I already have it. Changes One, compilation, kind of a greatest hits kind of thing. But I love it because I love all the greatest hits that are on here. If you're not familiar with it, there's the song list. I mean, it's just great songs. I love them. And my copy I already had, but it's got a skip. I don't remember what song, but it's side 2. I know that. And it skips. And it just bothers me. It's always bothered me. I've always wanted to upgrade and get a cleaner copy. Hopefully this one will be, as I mentioned, every album that I played to this point has been super clean. So I'm hoping that one's going to keep with that tradition of the group. What else did I pick up? Doobie Brothers Farewell Tour. Doobie Brothers is another band that I'm kind of just discovering beyond the radio hits and buying their vinyl when I see it and expanding my knowledge of their LPs because they're just great musicians. This turned out to be a little bit of a not so great for me. Why? Because it's a farewell tour, Doobie Brothers farewell tour. You may know that they're touring around with a farewell tour now, but this was back in 82, recorded in the summer of 82, recorded a double album, recorded at 3 venues in California. Irvine Meadows, which is a place where I used to go. I remember seeing Eric Clapton there. A couple of bands I saw out there at Irvine Meadows. Someplace in Ventura. And I can't remember the third spot where they recorded. It's good production. It's good sound production. Good, but you know what? A couple of knocks is that it came out at about the height of the Michael McDonald era, and so Michael McDonald is all over this album. His songs, and to be honest, I'm a bigger fan of the Doobies before the Michael McDonald era. I loved their stuff before, where they're just being straight out musicians, and the music doesn't feel as, what did they used to call it? AOR, album-oriented rock, something like that, but kind of more on the pop side, pop music side. That's how I classify that Michael McDonald version of Doobie Brothers. So there's a lot of it here. So that was a little bit of a letdown. And the other minor letdown is Jesus Is Just All Right. I think it's that one, or it might be Taking It to the Streets. But one of those two, they disco-fied it. And all the songs in 82 were being disco-fied. Disco was everywhere. And so when they played this live, somebody had the not very good idea of, why don't we play that with a disco vibe? Doesn't work for me. But otherwise, there you go. Doobie Brothers. What else did I grab? Pretenders EP. This is a promotional EP that they put out in between their first and second albums. mainly why I grabbed this EP is Precious. Recorded live at Grand Central Park. What is that what it's called? At Central Park in New York. I never saw them live, so I was interested in that live recording. Excellent. Great. You know, it turns out that they play very well. The Pretenders brought it live. Very good. The energy in that recording is fantastic. So for me, the fact that this is a promotional EP with a live cut makes it all very worth buying just to have in my collection. So I'm very happy with that. Pretenders. Last couple. New York Dolls. Speaking of compilations, this is a compilation. What is it? Night of Living Dolls? Yeah, Night of Living Dolls. New York Dolls compilation. A little steep, $14.99. It was the most expensive album that I bought, but I'm going to grab it. Why? Because I love the New York Dolls. And I just never see them in the used bins. Whoever bought them all up, of course, they're never giving them up. And when they do end up in a used bin, they're gone within 30 seconds. So grab it when you see it. The time to buy it is when you see it. I saw it, bang. Give me that compilation. And it's great anyway, because I got, you know, their most popular songs on here. So that's great. And the other little bit of trivia about this album is Give Her a Great Big Kiss. Apparently, it's a rare recording that was on here. So I'm very happy with that. So there you go. New York Dolls. This is great. That's my second favorite pickup of last week. But the most favorite is my Holy Grail album. The Rolling Stones Beggar's Banquet in the original white cover. Now, what about this white cover? Some of you may be familiar with Beggar's Banquet with the photograph of the bathroom full of graffiti. Trivia behind that is Mick Jagger discovered this bathroom, started graffitiing it, and then Keith joined him, and then some other members of the band came in and put graffiti. So it's all graffiti from mostly Mick and Keith, and the record company, their label, London, didn't want to release it because they considered it too risque. Are you kidding? It's a bathroom, right? It's a toilet, public toilet. So they were against it. They had a huge fight. 6 months, the album was delayed. In the end, the record company wins, and we get this. Get the original release on this is the white album cover. Here's the gatefold. Hopefully that's not too glared up for you. So there's a gatefold photo. Love it. Boys are all there. I wanted this album for Record Store Day, and this was on my hunt. But I lost out on it, and I was sorry that I didn't get it. Well, what happens? The next week I go album shopping, and the vinyl gods smile down upon me, and they gift me with this Beggar's Banquet original in the white cover. So happy. This is my literally white whale that I picked up. So all in all, last week's record haul, huge volume, huge variety in the music. White whale captured, clean albums across the board, replaced a few of albums that were lost in the punk rock robbery. And so it was a grand day for me and the vinyl. I hope next time you go out shopping for vinyl, it's a grand day for you, right? Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me. I picked up a couple of other new subscribers. I'm very happy. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And hoping that I'm going to keep bringing content to you that you're going to keep being interested in, right? All right, so see you later. Have a good rest of the weekend, everybody. Peace.